based on the statement that she reads, and then each group is going to read off like a characteristic or trait about their group that lets us know what they all are about. So the question started off like, okay, what do you like to do in your free time? So then we all mingled, and my group was like, we all like to watch movies, and then we said something like that. So the questions continued. There were about 4, but then and they were all kind of very innocent, like easy questions like that. But then the very last one was, okay, now we're going to separate ourselves based on race and ethnicity. And this is where I was like, okay, this is definitely what she was talking about. And then in front of everybody. And so now everyone, and I already know that I stand out amongst everyone. And she had said that I know we are a very homogenous group, but there are some people in here that look different. So that is also why we need to do this activity or something like that. And I was just very hurt and offended and kind of shocked that this was taking place. I didn't really know how to take it because I was like, that's kind of good that we're talking about this, but I just think it went about in like the worst way possible. And saying that we are a homogenous group already takes myself and the other girl away from the group and makes us feel not included and not belonged. And again, like, I know that I am one of the only people of color in this major. I'm very well aware of that every day, every time I look on Canvas, just everything. And so for her to bring that up publicly in front of the rest of my white peers, it was very hurtful. And I was just very shocked that this experience was occurring in college, and this professor is teaching me how to teach younger students, or how to be a teacher in general, and how to make my classroom feel comfortable and included for my students, yet she's not really practicing what she's preaching. And so then my group, we went last, and I grouped myself with the other girl, which, being biracial, I could have went with the other girls in the class depending on what they were grouping themselves by. And so she kind of just assumed what my race was, and I didn't want to leave the other girl hanging, so I went with her. And then we had said our little piece, and at the end everyone was like, "Aww," and that was really hurtful too, because I'm like, it's not anything that's cute or like it's not fun, and it's actually really just
sympathy. It doesn't need sympathy. Her race does not need sympathy
at all. And it's actually a very big issue that a lot of students are going to go through, a lot of their students will experience. And having somebody that looks like you everywhere you go is a privilege, and to not really have, I mean, you just become used to it, but like when the rare chance that it does happen, or just a person of color in general, I just feel more of a sense of belonging, and because I have someone to confide in and who actually relates and understands. And the unfortunate part also about this activity was that there was really no closure that came with it. We kind of just ended the lesson and we went back to our seats, and we had to actually fill out an evaluation about it. And one of the questions was, how would you change this activity for your younger students? And I feel like if you're giving us something to practice for our elementary school students, there should be nothing that should have to be changed, because if you have to change it, you should not do it with adults either. And you know, like, race is a very sensitive topic that I feel like people forget about, because this activity would have never been brought about if it were like, during this activity, a question about, okay, group yourself together if you've ever been homeless or if you've ever experienced poverty. That would have never been the case, because everyone knows that that is a very sensitive topic, and they would not want people to feel singled out in that way, because that is a hardship that people go through. But race also is, and I feel like people fail to